forget 6-9. 9-0 is the position to be in, especially if you like me are a middle-aged cricket-obsessed Indian male with nothing better to do than record a cricket podcast on a Monday afternoon. Trust me, I've known dry spells. Welcome to the second most relevant cricket show that's going around right now after the Pavilion. Welcome to the Common Fan Podcast. I have with me Prasanna, Kovalam, Ritvik, Shekhar, and Manan, Puri. And today we're discussing, among other things, India's spectacular run, undefeated run in this World Cup, the longest winning streak so far by India in a World Cup. And of course, we're discussing the important games coming up, the semi-final against New Zealand, and hopefully the final. Let's jump right into it. PK, let's get your thoughts.
Thank you, Vijay. Never want to hear you say 6-9 and together in the same sentence. So,
I agree.
Good day, everyone, and wishing you a very, very happy Diwali and acknowledging the traditional owners of the land as well. So, coming back to it, 9-0 has a fantastic ring to it. To be honest, at the start of the year, I did not think this was possible. Honestly speaking, did not think it was going to be possible. But I think there should be two players that should take majority of the credit for the scoreline. Mr. R. Sharma and Mr. J. Bumrah. Rohit has scored more power play runs, quicker, at a higher average, hitting more fours and more sixes than anyone else in this World Cup. And that tells you how well he's attacked from day one or game one. And who can forget Bumrah? I mean, if this bloke grows his beard a bit more by Christmas, I'm going to call it the second coming of Jesus Christ. And what do you reckon, Mr. Ritvik Shekhar? Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to you as well, and to everybody who is watching our show. Well, the number of retakes that Vijay took to crack that 69 position joke actually made me think about his struggles to get into that position with.
I'm going to keep this.
Coming back to cricket, and while we have been rightly talking so much about India's batting, about Rohit's belligerence, Kohli's accurate chases, brilliant stroke play by Iyer and KL Rahul, I think we also need to talk about India's bowling. And throwing some stats at you, Mohammad Shami missed the first 4 games. After the 5th game, after Shami has come in, India's bowlers have made an absolute mockery of whatever fight the opposition could come up with. Ever since the 5th game, Bumrah and Bumrah and Siraj have picked up 7 wickets each. Kuldeep has picked up 9. Jadeja has had 9. Has had 8, and Shami has had 16 wickets, mind you. So that makes me think that Hardik Pandya, who I had expected to break all records this World Cup and be India's most valuable player, but the only things that he ended up breaking were his own body parts. Probably Hardik Pandya's absence has been a blessing in disguise. And the way India's top 5 have been batting, we would have never really needed Pandya's services as a batsman. And no way Pandya and Shardul could have combined to pick up 16 wickets in 5 games.
Yeah. And I think we've talked, at length about the bowling and the batting in the tournament so far. I'd like to talk about 2 individuals. One is one half of Rachin Ravindra's first name, Rahul Dravid. I mean, we've run up to the World Cup, last couple of series, everybody was at his throats in terms of why he should be the coach, and he's not doing well. He doesn't, chopping and changing things, etc., etc. And now not a single good word about Jamie in any of the forums. Even, like you said, our rival podcast, The Great Cricketer, nobody talks about him, right? But having said that, I think the man has led the way from the dressing room, and in his usual style, nonchalant, working at the back end, working at things under the way he used to play, And the second person is, or the aspect is, the fielding of the team. I think that has gone a notch up in this tournament. Not just ground fielding, the catching, which was in, again, for a lot of criticism over the past few games, especially in the dressing room, the entire environment during the T Dilip presentations that he does as a fielding coach, and he's done very well. not just coaching the team, but giving presentations. I think he's beaten a lot of great MBA grads at presenting and covering the laurels that he does. I think the entire environment in the dressing room has been just so brilliant. You could just sense that they're enjoying each other's company. And of course, whatever shenanigans Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli and Ishan Kishan do. Besides that, as well, everybody is enjoying the entire atmosphere in the dressing room. So I think it's all going great so far, and the evidence is the 9-0 score line.
Or lack thereof.
All right. Look, man, it's been a World Cup of sixes and nines, let's be honest. I mean, we've got 9 wins on the trot, and we also have the maximum number of sixes by a team. I mean, I think I was reading a statistic that this is like the most sixes India has scored in a World Cup or something like that. So, yeah, there is undeniably, this is a World Cup of sixes and nines. Special shout out to Mayur from the North Shore Cricket Club, the club that PK and I are part of. He was on 69 not out in the last game. And guess what took him down? A ball hitting him in the nuts. Yes, that's right. So, speaking of converting sixes into nines, that is exactly what Glenn Maxwell did in the game against Afghanistan, and we do need to talk a lot about it. All right, but before we jump into Maxwell, I've been struggling to make this 6 into 9 analogy, but I've been distracted by PK's mustache, which kind of looks like an inverted U. But please do not, please do not dwell too much on it, because it is scary. And kids, at this point, I think you should stop watching this show. Jumping right into Maxwell's innings, what a fantastic turnaround! What an innings! Just when you thought Afghanistan had almost done the impossible and found themselves on the way to semi-finals qualification, in comes Maxwell with one leg and I don't know what else missing. And yeah, he's just tonking it around like his reverse sweeps or hoik shots or whatever you call them. They were almost as good as the ones that I play in club cricket. So I was quite impressed by what Maxwell did the other day, and I'm sure PK will testify to this. PK, what are your thoughts on the mustache? I will give you like one line, I will give you one attempt to justify that. And of course, on Maxwell's knock and on my reverse sweeping game.
Firstly, thank you very much for talking about my mustache. This is obviously for November. It's for a great cause. So please sledge away as much as you can. And if you can, please donate as well. Second, I'm not going to talk about Maxwell just yet. I'm going to talk about your shots. Your cover drive was actually very nice. And beyond that, everything just came off as a mistimed whatever. So it's a mistimed pull or a mistimed cut, whatever. And it ended up getting runs. Sometimes you don't get out. But,
come on, man. My reverse sweeps have got like a 80% hit rate, PK. Come on.
Yeah,
I've never gotten out to a reverse
sweep.
sweep.
Straight to the fielder.
No, I mean, the last reverse sweep I played went to the boundary.
Oh, it was for a mistimed catch. Anyhow, notwithstanding that, now, what a knock by Glenn Maxwell. What a knock by Glenn Maxwell. To do that when your limbs have given up, your nerves are shot to pieces, and your mind is imagining you in the nice, cool confines of the hotel room is just amazing. I take nothing away from that knock. 201 not out. Fantastic. The first Australian to hit a double century in an ODI. However, was it the GOAT ODI innings that some Australian journalists have been screaming from the rooftops in a manner that would make these Indian television anchors, proud? Hell no. I mean, yeah, Maxwell's innings was fantastic. Fantastic. But it was also helped by some very mediocre bowling, right? Afghan bowlers seem to have lost their mojo after having Australia down for 7 down for bugger all. There were 3 missed catches, and the last one was a pretty big sitter. It was an absolute sitter, something that you would like to miss in park cricket, like I have. And beyond that, after that, they just lost their mojo, and Maxwell capitalized. Good on him, but it's not the fantastic one-day innings that people think it is. I reckon the Virat Kohli 2012. Belrive in Hobart, chasing 348 in 40 overs or 30 overs, was fantastic. Now, that is an ODI innings. Manan, what do you reckon?
So, I'll draw an analogy here. What Sanjay Manjrekar is to Ravindra Jadeja and his performance. I think in the podcast I've seen Prasanna is to Australia. Right. No matter what these guys do, they lost like multiple games on the trot, and they've been winning games ever since. And this guy is not impressed. While yes, it is not a chanceless innings, I agree. But The poor guy just was on one leg. Yes, he had to hit those shots in his arc. It was all his core strength and the forearms. That was it. Yes, Afghanistan should have fielded well. They should have bowled wide outside the off stump and in, slower balls. But the guy still managed to hit them out of the park at any speed imaginable. Mujibur Rahman, Rashid Khan, he just tonked everybody. Yeah, Naveen ul Haq deserved to be tonked. The way he was bowling, I think his head is still in Virat Kohli's shoes. But still, I mean, the guy, Maxwell, was what it is that innings that Australian never say die spirit, when. So this reminded me of the 2003, Australia New Zealand game where Andy Bickle basically resurrected them from the dead. And this was similar kind of performance and even better. Australia are a dangerous side right now. Let's make no mistake about it. They're facing South Africa in the semi-finals. Chokers again. I'll not be surprised if they hit the finals and maybe eventually win it. On the form that they're in and the resurrection that has happened so far.
Well, I guess I'll agree with Manan here. And coming back to what PK said and his biases against Australian knocks, I believe this was one of the topmost ODI knock or any knock in white ball cricket that has ever been. And nobody else but the god of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, spoke about it similarly. And I'm not so much into picking up those one or two greatest knocks, but if there were ever a list of top five greatest ODI knocks, this would surely rank there, along with Kapil's 175. That said, I totally agree with Manan. This knock has come at probably the worst time for opposing teams, because after this knock, there was another game where Mish Marsh got 177 odd. And what is this happening with Australians getting daddy hundreds all of a sudden? These are ominous signs for other teams. The Aussies seem to be peaking at the very right time, and I really hope that South Africa can stop them in the semis. But if you look at past records, their records in semis have been pretty poor, especially against Australia. So yes, I think Australia is a side to watch out for, not just in the semis but also for the World Cup.
Look, I'll play a bit of devil's advocate here and sort of side with Prasanna. Let's face it, Australia didn't, Maxwell didn't get that daddy 200 against an India or a South Africa. He got it against Afghanistan. And any team that's got its opposition at 7 for not much should have gone on to win from there. So Maxwell, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not denying that it was an incredible innings from Maxwell. But was it the GOATest of the GOAT one-day innings? I don't know. I mean, we will definitely remember this for a long time to come. But I don't know, man. I mean, it was an inconsequential game for Australia. They'd already qualified. And it was nearly as inconsequential for Afghanistan, because I don't think Australia would have cared if Afghanistan had made the semis or not. So in that sense, Afghanistan had everything to play for, but they were still a weak team. And the way they were bowling, I mean, they were quite rattled once Maxwell started going and got his 50 odd, and that's when their lines completely got destroyed. Yeah. But on the other side, Maxwell did bat for most of the innings with literally one leg and absolutely no footwork. So it was a bit of brain dead bowling from the Afghans, not bowling those wider lines and those longer lengths, and making Maxwell reach for the ball and placing the fields accordingly. So they were just like handing everything to him on a platter. So yeah, undoubtedly an excellent innings. Was it the GOATest of GOAT? I don't know. I don't think it was. But
thank you, Vijay.
Definitely a great innings. Speaking of Australia peaking at the right time, Ritvik, you were mentioning that South Africa has history against Australia in these big knocks, and the numbers don't favor them. But I believe in the law of averages, and if nothing else, I am hoping that the rain for once will favor South Africa. And if it rains on both days in Kolkata, then we've got South Africa qualifying for the final. That is one way I see South Africa easily making it to the finals, not through defeating Australia, because Australia just seem incredibly strong right now. So I don't think no. And South Africa almost lost that last game against Afghanistan. Like they went pretty close there. So I don't think. I mean, India have been untested, or rather, they've been tested and they've come out with flying colors so far. So, one bad hour, I don't think is going to matter as far as India's prospects go in the semi-finals, because we've got strengths in every department right now and everyone's speaking at the same time. So it's going to take an incredible stroke of bad luck for India to find themselves challenged like they were in the 2019 semi-finals against New Zealand. So speaking of that big game, we've got semi-finals coming up. Huge game on Wednesday, India versus New Zealand, a repeat of 2019 in terms of the fixture itself, but two very different looking teams right now from 2019. Everybody in India peaking, and New Zealand, fair to say, they have been tested and they've been found wanting more often than not in this World Cup, although they have cracked the semi-final spot. It's going to be a cracker of a game. It's happening in Wankhede, which has produced quite a few interesting games, including the Maxwell knot. I think the first 10 overs are going to be crucial no matter what we do. And if we win the toss, we should ideally be batting and putting up a 300 plus score on the board. So let's go. So Manan, what are your thoughts on the big game?
So yeah, it is the India-New Zealand matchup again. But to your point, New Zealand have been tested and found wanting. The same thing happened in 2019 as well. They had not beaten any of the top 2 or 3 teams and still made it to the semi-finals. It was just, they're the kind of good workers who will scrape through somehow and then eventually get a lot of money when the funding happens after the IPO. I think that's the kind of team that New Zealand is. Having said that, yes, based on form, based on where they are, in respective positions in the tournament, it is India's game. But that one bad hour is what everybody is worried about, and more so us who went through the 2019 heartbreak. I do think though, but it is not a badla in this semi-final because that heartbreak will never heal from 2019, no matter what happens, no matter if India win the World Cup, that 2019 heartbreak will never heal. So it is that Pehla Pyar that did not get successful, you'll never forget that. Although it hasn't happened with me, but generally saying. But the game will be good, like you said. India should bat and take the pressure off the batting, and any swing that has to happen under the lights and Trent Bowl swinging in, etc., should not happen at all. Yeah, so PK, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, I think India versus New Zealand will be good. I still don't see New Zealand getting past India. However, I said that in 2019, and well, let's just not talk about it, even though Vijay and Manan have, and I reckon Ritvik's going to talk about New Zealand as well. New Zealand has a full-strength side to choose from, I think, and Williamson's been back, but I just don't see how they're going to trouble the top 4 or how the batters are going to face against Bumrah et al. Of course, on top of that, we also have the right arm, wrong foot of a certain V. Kohli to worry about as well. So it's gonna be tough for the New Zealand batters. The other one, my country of citizenship, Australia versus South Africa. It's gonna be interesting. Australia, still, in my opinion, despite what Manan and Ritvik think, and thank you Vijay for supporting me, it still hasn't gotten the combination right. South Africa are close to being woeful at chasing. They've choked once while doing it. They've almost done it twice. Choke. So if Australia bat first, then I would say there's more than a good chance Australia's going to win. Ritvik, what do you reckon, mate?
So on paper, on form, on everything possible in this world, India is a better side against New Zealand. But as we all have been rightly saying, New Zealand se dar nahi lagta sahib, one bad hour se lagta hai. My only one piece of, in fact, I've got two pieces of advices for the Indian team. One is play the usual self. Whatever you have been doing in this World Cup, it has been paying off. All the 11 players in the squad, they have been doing well. Sky hasn't had a lot of chances, but in the few chances that he has had, he has played some short cameos, and he may have to do that again on Wednesday. My second piece of advice is again for the Indian batters. No matter how fast you run between the wickets, if there ever is a close call, make sure you dive. And you dive.
Yes.
Dive like an English footballer.
Yes. Australia versus South Africa. The only way for South Africa to have some chance in the game is to bat first. If the toss doesn't go their way, then I'm sure it's going to be Australia in the final. So my bet is on an India versus Australia final. South Africa in Eden may not have the best of times. And we have a special guest on our show tonight. And Manan, I would request you to get him in.
Yeah.
So our special guest on the show today is a gentleman called Shubham Srivastava, who is pretty much a common fan like us. But last week, when India was, when South Africa were completely clueless in that game at Eden Gardens, something very special happened. Two common fans like us had their moments of glory under the sun when they went inside the stadium carrying posters for Harsha Bhogle and Tony Greig. Harsha Bhogle saw that, and he made a few tweets and Facebook posts about these two common fans who were carrying that poster. So, Shubham, welcome to the Common Fan Show, and I would love it if you could talk something about your experience at the Eden Gardens and what made Harsha Bhogle speak about you and acknowledge you in public.
First of all, thank you all. It's a privilege to join these set of common fans, and I have been following your show.
Now you are taking the piss. You are taking the absolute piss.
It's like, look at me. I've got a photo with Harsha. I've met Irfan Pathan, and look at you. Lesser people, you plebs running a podcast.
Talking about 69s.
Yeah. Thank you for I mean, I should be the one privileged to give you guys the time of the day. Go on, Shubham. Yeah, of course. Welcome to the show.
I really like the show. Actually, I have Ritik after bribing me, so I started listening to some of the videos, and he is also all the banter that we give
bribes.
So no, but it's a really good show. I like it because it has the rawness of all the common cricket fan like we all are, as well as the enthusiasm. Yeah, so coming to the point that Ritvik shared, yeah, I had a moment of glory with respect to Harsha Bhogle. So when we were going, we got tickets from Book My Show. Ritvik keeps asking me, how did you get? It is from Book My Show. I made a group call and we basically got it done from US, who got ahead in the queue and got the India versus South Africa. So we went there with two posters, one of Kohli hitting the 49th 10, and thanks to my friend Ankit who designed that, and second was fans of Harsha Bhogle and Tony Greig. So we wanted it to be different. One, of course, we are the fans of them, and Tony Greig, of course, we still have those. And what a player, what a wonderful player! That Sharjah commentary that was there, love it. Still will start giving goosebumps to us. That was there. And Harsha Bhogle, as we already know, brilliant. One interesting thing is when we were trying to design the poster, first thing that was coming to my mind as to what should we write about Harsha Bhogle saying some commentary was, "What have you done, Nawaz?"
I'm sure Babar also was saying the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was too long to fit in the poster, but we put it. And then we went to the stadium and we were too excited that some people wanted, yaar match dekhne aaye, tum log ko dekhne nahi aaye, baito. But we were too excited. And like I told Ritvik, the gist lies in the Besharam Rang song, that Nasha Sharifi ka utar feka hai. So we just went there and everywhere there was a camera, and now they are not just in the previous days, they used to have the camera only at the fences. Now they go into the crowd and then so we kept going. So people, actually some of the cameramen downplayed the commentators one, show the Kohli one. So we showed it. It came on screen, but it did not appear in the live feed. But we persisted. At the end, what happened? Everyone went away. And we were there. So even we asked someone, please ask Harsha sir to notice. Please ask Harsha sir to notice. No one noticed. What we did, we stood up on the chairs. Everyone has gone. Match has ended. Post show is going on, and suddenly Irfan Pathan sees it, and he does it like too good, like this. Wow. So then, an avid player of dumb charades, I had to also tell that, okay, can you just show it to Harsha Bhogle? And then he's saying he left. So I had to say, can you click a selfie and then show it to him? So he's...
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So wait, did Irfan click a selfie with you, not the other way around, right? So you did not click a selfie with Irfan. You made Irfan click a selfie with you.
Correct.
Oh my God.
We clicked a lot of selfies.
You're definitely not a common fan, man. Like cricketers want to take selfies with you. What the hell?
Such a good point taking a
By the way, Shubham, how did you manage all this in dumsheras? मतलब कोई Morse code था क्या? लगता है इतना dumsheras में इतनी conversation कैसे कर ली?
No, it's just like that.
अरे
Can you
डमशेराज में we used to take 10 minutes to guess a movie name. आपने पूरी conversation कर ली डमशेराज पे. आप selfie खींच लो, tag भी कर दो Twitter पे, ये भी कर दो भाई. कैसे?
No. Actually, he was interactive because now people have left. So only few people are left. Only there who is interacting with. And then he came down, and when we went with the poster so that he can take a selfie, show it to Harsha sir. So then everyone bombarded. So my photo that actually came is like I am somehow trying to hold to that funds. Not even the poster is also not well. But he was really, I must appreciate how Irfan Pathan was there. And then we also said that, okay, thank you, sir. Thanks. On Twitter, we will interact. I said this and then left the stadium. I did not have actually hope that, okay, he will come back to us. But I just tweeted Harsha Bhogle, sir, we missed meeting you, but we came with this poster, and Irfan Pathan with a heart of gold actually took a selfie. Can you please share the selfie? So I was very tired and did not even notice that it will actually come back. Suddenly at night, I noticed, and I'm trying to tell some people, everyone is like slept because it is too late. So I'm calling people in US. Irfan Pathan took that selfie. He shared. And I am also waking my wife up that, Irfan Pathan has taken the selfie, shared with us on his phone.
Wow. Is she a cricket fan?
No, I did not tell you the reaction.
the no had so much dard.
Sir, she said few words only that, okay, very nice. But yeah, that's it. I get the meaning that, okay, let me sleep. You be your cricket, you and your cricket types.
I was saying it would have been really interesting if Tony Greig had also responded.
But
probably he's dancing in the skies.
Dancing in their sofas.
Yeah, and then what happened is I slept just for a few hours, and then in my mind, in my dreams also, it was coming. Will Harsha Bhogle sir notice it? And suddenly calling. I have slept only for a few hours because I was in stadium next day traveling and all. And people are calling. Then I thought in my dreams itself that, okay, did Harsha Bhogle did something big happen, and just opened. What happened? Why are you calling? Then they said Harsha Bhogle has replied to your tweet. And I just got up, and I am now like, what to do? And then I see suddenly someone is sharing in fanboy movement. He has posted on Facebook. Someone sharing Instagram. So he has done. And I'm like, what to do? I called Ritvik, what should I reply? I'm not able to understand. And I am feeling like that Akshay Kumar.
And the bastard Ritvik is, his mate is calling him to find out what to do. And Ritvik's idea, hey, you should come on the
you should come on our podcast.
No, but I am...
We all have our battles to win.
So many likes and everything is coming. I am like feeling also very high. And I also feeling like Akshay Kumar's Duniya se keh do, copy that. Something like that. But also nervous at the same time. But Ritvik actually did not help. He only gave a taunt that, okay, you are outsourcing the captions and the reply also. Not just the... but
so
it did help. I was just giving a banter back to him.
So he didn't book the tickets himself. His nephew did it for him. He didn't design the poster himself. His friend did that, and even the caption that he wanted, he was outsourcing it to other people.
But he still won the Damshiraj game, right?
Exactly.
Shubham, do you work as a consultant? Are you a consultant? Because your attitudes and your behaviors leading up to and including the viral is basically consultant level. You get everyone to do your work and jump in to take the credit.
Yeah, I mean, look at the kind of people
he presents. Yes,
stakeholders. He's like, interacting and getting work done through stakeholders at all levels. Like, national cricketers. Irfan Pathan gets him a selfie, and then he does the tweeting himself. And then, this bloke Shubham uses Ritvik to get his tweet ideas. And then God knows what kind of AI chat GPT shit he used to get Harsha to notice the tweet. And then Harsha Bhogle replies to him. And people take care of, publicizing it on Instagram and everywhere else. So Yeah, I have a feeling like do you work for McKinsey?
No, no.
So,
I wish.
let me come in there. Now that you guys are bringing Shubham's profession in, I think it's time for me to ask him the next question that we had. So, Shubham, आप hot है, आप star है. It's only fitting that you work in the technical team at Hotstar. And why?
God.
Was or the
Was this the
69?
joke that you were afraid we would steal, Ritvik? And
No,
put
not
it-
this.
oh
This
my
is
goodness.
So while
This
Shubham,
guy's your mate.
you have
Oh
been
my God.
while Shubham, you have been traveling the country and watching matches in the stadium. Hotstar has been really cool, and it has been shattering viewership records in this World Cup. So you want to talk about it?
Sorry, guys, I have to interrupt this conversation because our panelist, Prasanna Kovalam alias PK, needs to leave. It's about 8 p.m. in Australia, Sydney time. He has to urgently leave, but he won't tell us why. So it's the next round is up for debate. Why is PK leaving? Okay, PK, you can fuck off now. Bye.
I'm just gonna go play badminton, boys. I've had so many sweets because of Diwali that the only way I can eat more sweets is if I promised my wife that I'd be playing sport and I'd be hitting the gym.
You're
So
kidding me. You're
Just
leaving.
sweets.
You're leaving the game that is the love of your life for a lesser sport, which is badminton, where you're going to be like handling a cock with a bat.
Yeah.
Another
I
game
hope-
that you're gonna suck at.
Yeah.
So now that you guys have been bringing Shubham's profession up, it's probably time for me to ask the next question. So Shubham, आप hot है, आप star है. It's only fitting that you work in the technical team at Hotstar. And while you have been traveling around the country and watching matches in the stadiums, Hotstar has been doing a phenomenal job and shattering viewership records this World Cup. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, definitely. And I would actually, on a very serious note, seriously say, like, in general, being always you used to see, as you know, that we are all very passionate, not just cricket fans. I know about Ritvik, he's a very Bollywood guy as well. So I always wanted to like see behind the scenes. It's very interesting if you are working on a feature which was used in a Game of Thrones or something like that, and similarly so much event. So first of all, one thing I must say, I really admire each person at Hotstar. It is not just I am at Hotstar, so I'm saying this, even offline conversations as well. Brilliant, like the people, how we actually get it all together. And coming to the record, sometimes you have to see that, okay, 4.4 crore is the current record of on current devices, we will say, because in one devices there could be so many people. So sometimes if you think about the spectacle that, okay, at least 6, 7, 8 crore people are watching your thing live, there are so many things to take care. So it is brilliantly executed. Lot of planning, lot of execution goes into, and lot of hard work and very minute level planning is there. Always we keep on improvising. So like I really admire my colleagues, really. So that is what I would like to say about that thing. And I am a program manager at Hotstar, Disney Plus Hotstar, and I also manage the tech readiness for these events and like the World Cup as well.
So what's the entire scene in that war room? During these games, 4 crore viewers, of course, are there. So do you guys actually get to enjoy the game, or is it all about work and making sure the shop is running?
Updating LinkedIn while the
But
records get smashed.
शुभम सर तो स्टेडियम में होते हैं ना वो तो मैच देखते होते हैं हर्षा भोगले के साथ होते हैं.
So Shubham, I have a question. Do your stadium visits count as work or leisure?
No, that is on a personal level itself, and that is why I said we booked through Book My Show. And
Book my show.
no, and another thing is that, just to clarify, Ritvik ne aisa bana diya that I'm going to every match. No, I just watched 2 matches in this World Cup, so rest is there. And coming to how we tackle it, see, it depends. If things are working, we keep on tracking the match. If things are working very smoothly, we kept on enjoying. And I always say a boring day in a war room is good. So if you don't have too much action, so this is how it is. But we stay calm and try to address it very methodically. That is what I can say.
Thanks for the amazing insights, Shubham. And Here's to smashing more records as we approach the semi-finals and the finals of this absolutely brilliant tournament that is the World Cup. And thank you so much for joining us today on our show. It's been a pleasure having you and listening to your experience. In fact, I had a personal Harsha Bhogle experience that was quite similar. I didn't go to the stadium. This was during IPL when Kolkata was playing CSK, and there were a couple of Kolkata players who were speaking in Tamil to each other. And ironically, none of the CSK players there could understand Tamil. Like you had Jadeja and Dhoni and someone else, right? And so I tweeted something about how Kolkata players are speaking in Tamil, while CSK players don't get it. And that was that. The next morning, I wake up and my Twitter mentions have gone, they've exploded. Turns out Harsha Bhogle said that bit on commentary. And then he was gracious enough to clarify on Twitter that he got that idea from somebody who had tweeted about the same thing. And people on Twitter kept tagging me under that. And so Harsha put out a tweet saying, thanks, Vijay, for saying this. This is the one that it was so nice of him to actually give credit and bother to find out who said it. I'm sure other people also would have made that observation, but I was lucky enough to get a mention by Harsha Bhogle, and I think that was that was my second instance of someone from the cricketing fraternity actually mentioning me in a tweet and then not blocking me.
Yeah. I was about to say that. Yeah. If you say nice things, people don't block you, Vijay.
Correct.
But I think one thing I want to mention over here regarding Harsha Bhogle sir is that it's not just his positive demeanor, and as a human being, if you see him throughout, even the tough things that he has to say, like many of us have learned how to say it, that you are assertive as well as not hurting anyone. So that is there. His personality is too good. I also happen to share the same birthday with him.
Oh.
So bat like Sachin and speak like Harsha was every 90s cricket fan's dream. And while you guys have been talking so much about virtual interactions with Harsha, I had an opportunity to meet him in person in the streets of Melbourne and also shake hands with him. And that was when I saw him and his wife just roaming around MCG just a day before the Boxing Day Test match in 2018. And he was kind enough to speak with us, ask us if we are there for the game. And we actually didn't leave him an option, because while he was trying to walk away, we actually ran after him and chased him and shopped him and managed to greet him. So yes, a very nice person who meets and greets you very cordially. And just like he says, Harsha says something which is very nice. He always maintains that he's not the story, he's the storyteller. And that's as humble as a man of that stage can become.
Yeah. As far as this episode's concerned, Harsha is the story and we are the storytellers.
The storytellers.
Yeah.
Very nicely summarized.
All right. So we'll get Shubham's quick thoughts on the upcoming semi-final before we close out the show, because we've all spoken about it. So Shubham, what's your gut feeling? What do you think about the semis between India and New Zealand?
So, we will win and we will win this time. I think I know that we have been like that one bad hour. We generally have been facing it. But I personally feel, and I have been like very, very critical of KL Rahul in the past. But somehow I was always critical and saying KL Rahul will perform well, go to the knockout stage, get out. But somehow I feel he may be able to do well in this knockouts stage. Only bad thing is Pandya is not there. But I told a few of my friends that the X factor, Shubman, Kuldeep, and Pandya is this World Cup. So Pandya is out, but Shubman, I still believe he has done well, but he could still be that X factor, winning us that one match. And Kuldeep is our trump card. Of course, Kohli, Rohit, Bumrah has to perform, but this is that last 5% that we have. Only thing I think in my mind again and again, have the same attitude, like just another game. And fingers crossed, this time hopefully we'll win the World Cup.
Absolutely. On that note, let us wish Team India the very best for the semi-final. And thank you for joining us on the Common Fan podcast and show. And thank you, Shubham, for sharing your experiences today with us. This is me, Vijay, signing off with Ritvik, Manan, and PK.